Sorry about the technical issues. And Michael's coming back on now with a microphone.
Right. Hi, guys. Sorry, I'm really struggling with this.
Yes, sorry about that. We're waiting for you.
Right. Okay, here I am. Finally. Okay, so start sharing.
All right, can you turn on your webcam? It should be
Here we go.
Yeah. Ah, good. Okay.
So my deepest apologies.
That's okay. Why don't we get started? We have two people. Richard Royce is showing here, but he's not showing as either listening. Maybe Richard's trying to get on with a webcam. If you are, Richard, and if you can hear me, in the top center of your screen, there's some icons, and one is a microphone, and one is a webcam. So if you click on those, you should be able to join us and actually participate in the video conference and in the conversation. There's also a chat on the right-hand side. If you can't, I cannot hear you, but you can type in the chat if you would like. And we'll try to keep an eye on that as well. So let's get started. One of the ways we like to start here is with a singing bowl. Just give me a minute. Sorry, I'm working with a smaller screen here than I'm used to working with. Oh, come on. And I'd like to turn it over to Sue Bryan, who's going to be our heart coherence monitor this morning. I'd like to take a couple of minutes here.
Thank you, Janet. So let me just say that heart coherence monitor is sort of an offshoot of some of the research that the HeartMath Institute has done. And they study the actual, well, probably many people on this call know more about HeartMath than I do, but they're a research institute and they study the effects of brain and heart coherence and the actual capacity for staying in heart coherence with other people. So what we're going to do is just create a heart coherence field, and then my self-assigned task, I guess, is to just sort of keep feeling into that field and bringing us back to that field of coherence if I sense that we've sort of moved out of it. But that's not just my job. You know, if any one of us who's on the call feels like we need to just take a breath together and bring ourselves back into coherence, please raise your hand. Maybe we can designate one of the little icons, Janet, as we need to take a break and just reconnect with each other. So I'll let you deal with that. But the way we're going to create this field is to just sit quietly for a moment And just get in touch with each of us, in touch with our bodies and with the particular rhythm of life that we express, which can be described as the rhythm of our breathing and our heart. So just wherever we are right now, wherever each one of us is, just get in touch with that rhythm. And just notice your breathing, notice your heart rate. Try to deepen your breathing a little bit, maybe slow your heart rate down, and bring your attention fully into your body. So you might want to notice the chair that you're sitting in. Where are your hands? Are your shoulders relaxed? Where are your feet? And let's just breathe together for a couple of breaths. And then we're going to create a field of appreciation, and we'll do it this way. If you feel like placing a hand over your heart, you can do that. And just get in touch with that area of your body, that area of your energy field, your heart area. And bring to mind something for which you feel appreciation and gratitude. It could be a person or a place or a thing, something you feel grateful for and that you feel appreciation regarding. And just let your mind fill with the thought of that thing or that person and the feeling of appreciation. And then imagine that that sense of appreciation can reach from your heart center to fill your entire body. And just as you breathe in and out, allow that sense of gratitude and appreciation to fill your body all the way down to your toes, all the way up to the top of your head. And then allow that sense of appreciation to fill the space around your body. And as each of us sits in this energy state of appreciation, we are connecting globally with every other person who in this moment is contacting and within themselves that energy of gratitude and appreciation. So let's just enjoy that. Allow your heart and your sense of appreciation to reach out and say hello to everyone else who's on the call, everyone who listens to the recording. And notice how your body feels relaxed and present. Your mind feels present when you are sitting in this energy state of appreciation. So if at any time it feels during this conversation that you have stepped out of this energy of appreciation, go ahead and signal us somehow, and I'll do my best to pay attention to that as well as we go about our conversation. I'm really looking forward to this. Thank you, Janet, and thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Sue. And I don't know how to work the icons, but there is a chat box on the right-hand side. For those of you who are in listen-only mode, I don't know whether you can see the chat box or not, but it is another way for you to communicate with us.
Okay.
And now I'd love to turn this over to Michael. With much appreciation and gratitude.
Instead of being really angry with me for being late.
No.
Thank you, Janet. I've got a few slides. I'd just like to upload those. They're a PDF format.
I'm going to have to make you a presenter then, Michael, for a little while. And you know how to do upload the slides?
I think I can remember, yep.
All right, you're the presenter.
So on the bottom
Okay.
left, there should be a little icon that when you scroll over it, it says upload presentation.
Upload presentations. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And it has to be a PDF.
Right. Select file. No. Right. Desktop. Right. I've selected this, uploading it.
It'll show up in a minute.
Okay.
Okay. We've got your slide. Thank you.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay. So welcome everybody. And this is the topic of this of the conversation that we're going to have over the next 45 minutes or so. And it's really addressing this question regarding climate change. And a lot of people are out there and they're writing books about it. They're sort of predicting. And it's something along the lines of 95% of life on this planet will be extinct in 100 years. So the question is, how do you feel about that? And what do you want to do about it? And what can you do about it? And what is that attitude? Okay, so before, in a few seconds, I'm going to just go through very quickly through a few slides which give some pointers to this issue and what some people are saying. But before we do that, I'd like to just take you through a little experience of being connected. So Sue has just given us a wonderful heart connection. And what I'd like to go is a little bit deeper and spend just a few more minutes as an introduction to what we're doing. So if you're all right with that, so I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. And just sit there, and we can start maybe with where we left off, with the gratitude, the feeling of gratitude, and maybe the gratitude for this wonderful planet that we live on, and that we've been able to enjoy a fantastic climate for thousands of years, and it's supporting us in a brilliant way. So keeping your eyes closed, and then connecting with your breathing. So just feeling your breathing. And feeling into your body, and feeling yourself being right now in this moment. We're together. And basically you're feeling your body and the energy in your body. So feeling it as being alive and energetic. And if you've got any tension, just feel where the tension is and just letting it go. And connecting with your breathing. And then ask you gradually to allow your breathing, maybe sort of start by breathing into your heart area, where we are with the gratitude and everything, and then slowly going down into your solar plexus of your belly, your upper belly. And as you're breathing in, experiencing your belly expanding, and when you breathe out, your belly contracting. So you're breathing in, and you're feeling this expansion in your belly. As you breathe out, you're feeling contraction. And then I'm going to invite you to go a little bit further and see if you can connect with your lower belly. So that's below your navel. And the same thing is breathing into the belly and feeling it expanding, and breathing out and feeling it contracting. Breathing in and expanding, breathing out and contracting. Breathing in, expanding, breathing out, contracting. So I'm invite you to think of this, your lower belly, as the center of your whole energy field. So if you imagine your energy field is all around you, it encompasses your whole body, and think of your aura. You're all familiar with your aura, and that encompasses your whole energy field. So this is what you're radiating out to the world, and the center of that, just think of that for a moment as being your lower belly. Now, if you've got your attention on your lower belly, if you're thinking of it as a dark space, so you can't see into it at the moment, but you're breathing in there and you're aware of it, and gradually I invite you to begin to see a little dot of light, a little tiny little flicker of light at the center of this dark space. There's a tiny dot, it's about the size of a pinhead, and see if you can imagine it, see it getting brighter and brighter. So before there was just a dark space, and now you've got this tiny dot of energy, and it's a tiny dot of light, and this light is slowly beginning to fill the dark space, and gradually your lower belly is beginning to get a sense that it's becoming all light. So it's gone from darkness to light. So just feel that feeling for the moment. You might feel feeling a little bit of warmth in your lower belly as if you sense it being filled with light. And then I'm going to invite you to imagine that this light, this tiny dot of light, is compressed energy. And in a second, you're going to allow this compressed energy to expand all the way up the center of your body and come out of the top of your head, about a foot above your head, and then it's going to break up into thousands of rays of light that are going to cascade down all around the outside of your aura, the edge of your aura. And then with the out breath, you're going to continue down beneath your feet and then contract and then come up the insides of your legs through your root chakra back into your lower belly, that center. So you're seeing a pattern of light which is connected with your in-breath, which is coming up the center of your body, breaking up into thousands of rays, and then cascading down, and then with the out-breath continuing down, and then coming down beneath your feet and connecting back to the center. Try and imagine, it's quite difficult to imagine. You've got this pattern of energy which you can see as light. And I invite you to begin to get a sense that I am this energy, I am this light, and it's flowing through me, and I can see it, and I can feel it. And as it's flowing through me, and it's flowing up my body, it's gradually the light from that laser beam of energy flowing up is filling all my other centers with light. So my upper body is being filled with light, my head, my arms, and then it's coming down, and my legs and the rest of my body are being filled. So see if you can imagine that breathing like this is every cell in your body is being filled with light, and you are becoming a total light being. But you have this energy, and this energy can be seen in the form of light. And you can see it as a color, you can see it as white light, or you can see it as silver light or gold, or maybe you can see it as rainbow light. So try and visualize it in your own way. Right, so as you're doing that, I invite you to try and get a sense. Here you are, center of your lower belly is the center of this bubble of light. And now we're going to do this quite quickly, but I'm going to give you a sense of how, as we become light, we become part of the universal ocean of light. So there's light throughout the whole universe. This energy, which we're seeing as light at the moment, actually pervades the whole of the universe. So you are sitting there, and with your lower belly being the center of your own sort of bubble of light, is actually, in a way, is the center of the whole of the universe. I am the center of the universe, And I'm going to invite you just for a few moments just to feel that. And I'm going to take you through several steps. So now, for a moment, think of the planet. Okay, we're sitting on the planet. Imagine the center of the planet. And although it's all physical, we know it's all matter. In a sense, energetically, it is also light. And now just imagine that you're at the center of this planet, this wonderful planet of ours. And as you're breathing in, and the energy, instead of just coming up, say to the North Pole and coming back down to the South Pole, it's expanding in every direction from the center. And then with the in-breath, and then with the out-breath, it's contracting and coming back again to the center. So you may be seeing pictures of the magnetic field of the planet, and it's that kind of radiating of rays that you're seeing, and you're seeing that as light, and you are, as it were, the center of that energy field. And then see if you can imagine the sun and all that energy there, and now you're the center of that energy field. It's much bigger than the Earth, and you're expanding in every direction with the in-breath, and you're contracting back to the center again with every out-breath. So this huge field of energy, and you're the center of that, and you're now feeling the energy of the sun. And then finally, I invite you to imagine you're the center of the universe, point to the Big Bang, where you've got that energy which is expanding, initially, expanding out, and it's going across the whole of the universe. And then with the out-breath, it's contracting all the way back again, and coming to that central point, that singularity, which is at the center of the universe. So here you are in your center. You're expanding as you breathe in. You're expanding across the whole of the universe. You are the Big Bang. And then with the out-breath, you're contracting, coming back to the center, expanding and contracting. And what I'm inviting you to feel is how in this sort of meditation, you are connected with everything that there is in the universe through this energy which pervades the whole of the universe, this light. Okay, so I'm just giving you just a little taste and a sense. And then we'll see in a second whether this connects at all with what we're talking about when we talk about climate change. Okay, I know you can't see the connection at the moment, but let's see how things go. Okay, so I invite you to come back for a moment. You can open your eyes again. And just for the next few minutes, I'm going to flip through a series of slides. I'm going to go very quickly. Okay, and then we'll get to the point, and then we'll start having a conversation. So this is the topic. Will 95% of life on this planet be extinct in 100 years' time? Okay, so here's a slide talking about the rate of extinction of life on the planet at the moment. So here you can see hardly anything at all for the last 200 years, and then suddenly at the beginning of the last century, beginning to take off, and here by 2000 it's here, and it's shooting up towards that. So that's the trajectory that we're looking at the moment. Okay, and I just pulled this slide up. I sort of looked up, did a few Google searches, and this came up, and there's lots of things like this if you actually want to look at species extinction. And then there's a book which has been written recently by Elizabeth Colbert, and it's called The Sixth Extinction. And there have been 5 previous extinctions that we know about, and all of those have been done by some kind of natural event, natural disaster, a meteor or whatever. And the 6th one is actually one that is being caused by us. Okay, and she's saying, so this is just a little taste here, is if global warming exceeds 1.6 degrees, currently we're 1 degree, just below 1 degree, 31% of Earth's species will be committed to extinction, having nowhere to go to escape the rising heat. So that's 1.6 degrees is what she's saying, and we're talking about the possibility of going to 2 degrees, 3, 4, maybe even 6. And here's a little slide came from The Independent. Scientists say it could be game over for planet Earth. So this is what a lot of scientists are saying. Of course, there are people who contradict them. And you've got the lovely Mr. Pruitt who says there's no climate change. And CO2 is actually good for life and it actually makes the plants grow. So we've got a lot of opinions. But this is kind of more or less mainstream opinion at the moment. And then this is a little bit more alarming. So we're looking about 2050, and by that time, the rate we're going at the moment, it could be 4 degrees warmer. So 1.6 degrees could create 31% extinction. Now imagine what 4 degrees does. And you can see here, the yellow is uninhabitable area due to desertification, flooding, droughts, and extreme weather. Okay, so all this here, look at this, United States, all that. Most of Europe and Asia, most of Africa, most of South America, most of Australia. Okay, so by 2050, if you're still alive, probably you want to be living somewhere around here, or maybe in New Zealand. So that's why all these millionaires are all going to New Zealand, because that's likely to be one of the safest places on the planet. So what can we do to avoid runaway climate change? So this was written, I think, in 2009 or something. And they say we have less than 5 years left to stabilize carbon emissions below 400 parts per million. They're currently at 387. So I'll be showing you in a second that they've now gone beyond 387, they've gone beyond 400. And we're already over the 400 parts per million. If we could stabilize them at that level, global temperatures would stay below the critical 2 degrees threshold. To achieve this, every person in the developed world must reduce their carbon emissions by 90% as soon as possible. In the UK, the average individual annual emissions are 12.5 tons. In the USA, it's something like 20 tons, just to give you an idea. You can find out more, etc., if you go to that. Okay. So this is what, and you might say that's just doomsaying and it's a disaster thing and they've got a vested interest. But I'll just give you a taste of what people are saying. So this is the famous Keeling curve. And Keeling was looking at measuring CO2 in the atmosphere, atmospheric CO2, and measuring it by parts per million of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And this shows you what it looks like over a year. So it's a little bit less, and then it goes up, peaks around about May, June, and then it goes down and then it goes up. So it's going up and down over a year. It's not sort of stable at a particular time. And you can see here that it's gone from below 405, about 403. It's gone to actually 411, and today it's somewhere around 403, last reading. So it's already over 400 parts per million. So this slide is very entertaining. This is over 800,000 years, and it shows parts per million, CO2 parts per million, over hundreds of years, okay? And they've never exceeded, over 800,000 years, 280 parts per million. Now here we are today, and look at it, it's just gone up, just shot up like a hockey stick. 800,000 years, never went over 280 parts per million. Now it's just skyrocketed. Over the last 10,000 years, you can see the same picture. More or less flat, and then suddenly bang, up it goes. Since 1750, more or less flat, right? Then suddenly here, around about 1950, starts taking off. So this is again, it's like the hockey stick thing. It's just taking off and it's just shooting up. And this is what the Keeling curve looks like. So you can see each year the up and down movement variations during the year. And you can see that now we've topped somewhere around 410, 411 at the peak. So it varies, goes up and down. And then occasionally you get reports in the newspapers saying, oh, it's gone down. But basically what you're seeing is the bottom part of that curve. But sure as anything, it's going to go up again. So that's just a reminder what the world looks like if it goes to 4 degrees warmer. So this is what scientists are saying. So the world may be 4 degrees warmer as soon as 2050. This means that billions of people will either die or have to move. Based on climate change models, this map indicates that 95% of the human population, probably having got to 8 billion people, will be affected. Possible death toll: Asia 5.2 billion, Africa 1.3 billion, Latin America 765, United States 408 million. I mean, that's most of us. Europe 490 million. It's not a very encouraging prospect. So what does it mean for me? Okay, so I'm a grandfather. I've got kids. I'm 73 years old. And what it's telling me is, if I'm looking at the odds, chance of my grandchildren reaching my age naturally, something like 2%. It's not a very good odds. Okay, so I see myself now as grieving my grandchildren. That's where I'm at. And I'm grieving for the great-grandchildren that will probably never live. So let me just go back on that. Actually, I'll leave that here for a moment. So now the question is, we started off with quite a stark statement, extinction within 100 years. And we all know about climate change. There isn't a single person on the planet that doesn't know something's going on. Okay? And what I suspect is that we're all at some stage or other in these various stages of grief. Okay? So now I'm going to open up the question. So where are you in this stage? So are you in denial, or have you reached the point of acceptance that this is what's happening?
Well, this is Janet, and I am in a state of not knowing. And it's very interesting to me to observe the huge energetic contrast between your meditation at the beginning and your very conceptualized analysis of this thing that's called climate change. And one thing I notice is that the intention or focus of those two aspects of what you presented is very different. And also that I have a choice as to which state I want to place myself in, focus on, set an intention to be.
So what's your choice?
My choice is to stay in the energetic field and perhaps use some of the conceptualizations, certainly to shift some of my own conduct in case they are in fact true. because I care about my children and my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. I want them to survive and thrive. But I am not in a state of fear over this or a state of anger. I'm simply in a state of awareness and choice.
So, okay. So if what the science is saying is true, right? And I agree with you, we don't know. Nobody knows. I don't know. I'm just quoting what the science is saying. So the implications are when I go and switch on a kettle to make my tea, right, and using electricity produced from coal or from gas or whatever, I am contributing to the possible demise of my grandchildren somewhere down the line, 30, 40, 50 years' time. When I go and switch on the light, when I get into my car and drive my car, when I fly in the plane, every action that I'm doing at the moment is contributing to something that's going to happen to them down the line. So you might say you're in a state of unknowing, okay? But what I think I know is that my actions have consequences. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm like everybody else. Okay, so the question then comes is, as you say, there are choices. So which choice does one take? Does one choose to say, well, the science might be right. Okay, this is what's happening. This is what we're doing to ourselves. Basically what they're saying is humanity is now slowly in a process of suicide. We're actually slowly destroying ourselves. Nobody else is doing it to us. It's just us doing it to ourselves. So what choices should I make?
Whoa.
Was that an airplane?
Yeah, somewhere.
That's a choice, obviously.
Yeah, we should get on a plane and fly the hell out of here quickly before it's too late.
Well, this is Sue. It doesn't seem all that productive to walk around feeling shame and guilt about having a cup of tea or exhaling. That doesn't seem very productive to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is Ann, and I wanted to say that for me, when I look at the for the grief around the reality, that I can go from definitely, I can be in that mode of acceptance. I've heard it too often by too many. But from that, I can go into depression. I can go into anger. I can say, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So I can do the bargaining. And then what is for me the most important is to go in the resonance, the heart field, to know what is my role as a teacher, as a leader, as somebody connected to many networks, in helping others become responsible for what the reality could be and for what we can do together. And I don't know what all of that is, because I guess I see one of my roles is bringing people together who haven't been together as the human race, and looking at the situation in a realistic way, but then operating out of our heart resonance.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you see, lots of us are aware of what's going on, and we're each in our own way is doing our little bit to help. Okay, so we're recycling our rubbish, and we're getting heart connection, and we're radiating love, and we're doing all that sort of thing. And meanwhile, all the time, tons of CO2 are being pumped into the atmosphere, and it's not actually doing anything to stop what's going to happen. So we could say we're in our heart connection and we're all going to die with our heart connection.
No, I
No,
want to just
Yeah, go ahead,
clarify
Ann.
a little more, because I think it is what is our little bit is for me what the answer is. My little bit combined with many other little bits can help stop extractions. My little bit with other people's little bits can stop the pipelines. I'm talking big, my little bit can force corporations to do the right thing for the planet and people. I can't do it at all, but I can be part of the bits that are making a mass movement, a global movement, a grassroots movement to be the change makers.
Okay, fantastic. So,
And I can only agree with that, but I would add there are obvious things that we all can focus on and set an intention to manifest on the planet, like, for example, clean energy. We can use wind energy or solar energy and still be able to turn on our electric lights and have our cup of tea.
mhm.
So there are solutions. There are solutions when we release ourselves from the fear and the grief and the anger, and I think that is a process. But part of it is shifting our focus and our intention, which I think Sue was alluding to earlier, on the positive things that can make a difference. And I agree with Anne, a major one is simply bringing people together in respectful explorations of how, whatever time we have, we are going to live on this planet, respecting the planet that supports us, and respecting one another, and to the best of our ability, and it's not perfect, meeting one another's needs and meeting our own needs. I think the focus of the conversation needs to shift to the extent that we're involved in conversations, which we are here, as opposed to simply being in that heart resonance or energetic connection space. And I think it's really important to be coming from that.
I agree with you, Janet, and I think that the trick here is to hold the space of reverence for the process, whatever the process is that we're going through. And it seems like the scientific data is, it is what it is, and maybe it's accurate and maybe it's not, and maybe the conclusions that are being drawn are accurate and maybe they're not, but maybe there's something completely different that's happening that we can't perceive right now. But if we behold all of this evidence from a place of fear or a place where we're panicking about it, we can't actually affect the change that I think, Michael, you're interested in affecting, which is a change of consciousness globally. I really think that if we can behold all this evidence and hold ourselves, which this group actually feels like it's doing to me, holding ourselves in that sense of coherence and peace about this. What we don't know and what the science doesn't show us and can't measure, doesn't know how to measure quite now, is that where we affect energetic change, where we affect change in consciousness, is in this field of appreciation or this field of connection. When we breathe together into our bellies, we're creating something that science is not accounting for in its data. because it doesn't know how.
Right, right.
Well, okay, let me give you some other statistics. I don't know whether they're true or not, but the first one seems to resonate okay, and that is that 80% of the global warming gases, or whatever you like to say, are caused by 20% of the population. So 20% of us are causing 80% of the global warming gas. Okay, so there are cattle which also produce about 16%, and then we produce the rest, more or less. And of that, 80% is produced by 20%. And then there's another shocking statistic, and I don't know whether it's true, is that 1% are actually producing 50% of the emissions. Okay, the very rich, and the powerful, and the people who are all controlling what's going on are the ones that are producing most of this. But 1% of the planet is quite a lot of people. How much is 1%? So it's about 70 million people or something like that. A lot of people. Is it 7? I'm not quite sure about my maths, but anyway. So the question is, does your heart connection, does your gratitude, does it impact any of those people? Are they going to change? Because unless they change, unless the 20% changes, nothing's going to happen. We're all going to be experiencing the same thing.
Well, I believe that it does affect those people, but that's not provable. I don't have data to support that. Just a belief of mine. But the other thing is, I think we have to be really careful about creating stories. I mean, human beings, one of the things we love to do, and I know, Michael, that you talk about this idea of core wounding, one of the things we love to do is create a story where the odds seem insurmountable. Right? Look at our films and our literature and TV shows, and things get so, I mean, if you watch the progression of filmmaking over the last 50 years, the odds have gotten so stacked against the heroes of our films. It's not even funny. I can't even watch some of the movies. That they're so distressing. And we really like doing this. And I believe that propensity of humans to create those stories comes out of a core wound. And I think we have to just stop telling the stories and start telling other stories that we can occupy our consciousness and our minds with, that will inspire us, pull us forward. Here's the thing. In a consciousness perspective, fear is an unsustainable fuel source, just like oil, just like coal. It's unsustainable. The body can't sustain it. It will die. It will age and die if we continue to use fear and even rewards and punishments as motivators for our behavior. So the shift in consciousness that has to happen is one where we are being pulled towards a vision, pulled towards a story that we like, that we don't feel afraid of. And that fuel source, like solar or wind, is sustainable in a personal and interpersonal and psychological and physiological sense. So I think when we say we want to hold in this space of gratitude or space of connection, and we want to just connect in the field of appreciation, and we feel like that makes a difference, I believe it does, because it pulls us towards a vision, and people will catch on. Any people will. There's a lot of the 1% that we blame on everything these days. There's a lot of it. Think about Hollywood actors are part of the 1% who are massively active in regard to climate change and to the planet, massively, with all their resources. There's a lot of the tech industry now who are part of that 1%, who are massively active in terms of climate change. So I think we just really could tell a different story that would provide us with a more sustainable inner fuel source, which will then outpicture into sustainability in the world. It has to, because that's the way it works, in my opinion.
And I just want to bring our attention for a minute to the time. We have 3 minutes left in this very fascinating presentation and dialogue. if, Michael, at this point, if it's okay with you, and we could go on for a long time, I think, with the conversation, I would like to bring the conversation to a close and just reflect back a little bit of some of the things that have come out of the conversation.
Well, can we allow Michael a few minutes here to get to like what his point was?
We can if we don't get cut off. We have 2 minutes.
We won't get cut off. We're not going to get cut off. Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Michael. Would you like to do that?
Really quickly. Yeah. So where I'm coming from is we have created this problem for ourselves out of the consciousness in which we're in at the moment. Okay, have we got cut off? It sounds as if
I can hear you.
No, we're not going to get
you can hear me. Okay. Okay, you can hear me. Okay, so the hypothesis is that if we want to fix it, we have to actually move into a different stage of consciousness in order to deal with the problem that we created in the first level. Okay, so that's kind of the challenge. And my sense is that is a huge shift that we have to take, and it entails actually healing our collective core wound. So that's really the goal, right? And when we heal our core wound, we then experience a sense of transcendence, which is where I think you're talking about, this place of love that we can be for ourselves, for each other, and for the planet. So that's the goal. But we have to do it all together, because if just you and I do it, it's not going to be enough. So it has to be a kind of collective thing that within the next 5 years, we've got to somehow get together and agree to do this shift all together. Otherwise, we're sort of fiddling while Rome burns. So that's my view. Anyway, it's a very difficult topic, but what I'm really saying is the bigger the threat is the bigger the opportunity. And that is what is possible at the moment. And that's what's so exciting. And it comes to this love that you're talking about, Sue, and about this deep sense of connection that we can get, which we kind of lost as a result of what we've been doing and how we've created this problem in the first place.
Well, so how do you propose to get everyone to do this all at once? What is your idea about that?
Okay, well, the basic idea is basically what I've come up with is a way of helping people to get to a point of healing their wound very quickly. Okay, you don't have to go and spend a lifetime or several lifetimes in a Zen monastery learning how to heal yourself. It's something that anybody can do, and it'll be done quickly. So we actually have the means for doing it if people want to do it, right? And the structure that I've been creating is a facilitated training program where I train facilitators who will then train other facilitators who will train other facilitators. And then if you just do the maths, you can see that within no time flat, you've actually covered a huge number of people very quickly if people want to do it. Okay, but they have to come to a point. This first stage is acceptance, real acceptance that we have a problem, and it's a serious problem, and it's an existential threat. Because until we get to that point, I know what you're saying about fear. You let go of the fear, right? You don't have to have the fear, but we have to accept that there's a problem. Otherwise, transcendence, love, all that kind of thing, it's all very nice, but I'm too busy. I don't have time.
So you're saying not so much acceptance, but acknowledgement that there is a problem. That's the first step. People need to climb. In my work, I have a ladder of consciousness, and the first step is you have to be interested. You have to be interested in making a change. So yeah, okay, yeah.
Well, you have to accept that there's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
It also seems like you need to be motivated, and guilt is not a motivator, fear is not a motivator, love is a motivator. And if I may, I just wrote a prayer this morning and thinking about this, and I'll just read it very quickly, if that's all right.
Please do.
Creator God, you are me, and I am a small piece of you. You are love, and I am made from love, and love is where I dwell, and in death return to be born again from love. In your magnificence, all creation bursts forth from love, the universe, stars, sun, moon, earth. It is in the fullness of love you created us, equal parts, small pieces of the whole. Earth is you, our mother. We must take care of your creation that gives us life. We rejoice in your love and give thanks as one of your creatures who gives us all that is needed to live, to be nourished, to thrive, and to live in harmony. Rise up in love, dear ones of earth. Be her hands, feet, and voice. We can no longer be idle while our mother is being harmed. We no longer can be silent as we pollute her air, water, soil, and fire. We hear the call to stop all extractions and heal her wounds. There is no time to wait in becoming. 1 in 5 people are dying from pollution. We say no more. We will say no to all polluters of the waters, air, soil, food. We will mend the web of life, be lovers of ourselves and one another. We are love. We come from love and will return when we are lost, tired, confused, and sick. Creator, you are me, and I am a small piece of you. I have to work on it some more, but that was what came to me.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, and Anne, I'm thinking maybe that's a beautiful closing right there, rather than the normal reflection back that we do in words. So I mean, there's obviously much more conversation that could be had around this. We will do that in the future. Oh, darn, and I forgot to figure out when our next gathering would be, but it will be in 4 weeks. And at the moment, it will be at the same time as today. So I want to thank everybody for being here. Richard and Sue Bolter, maybe the next time you can join us on video and on audio and add your thoughts to the conversation and your perspectives, because each and every one of us who contributes makes a difference. So
Thank you, Janet.
Thank you,
And
everyone.
thank you all.
Yes,
And Michael.
thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
and I'm going to stop the recording here and then end the session.
I think Michael is the one who has to stop the recording because he's the presenter.
Oh, you're right, unless I put myself back in charge. Well, it says I can